start from there. Well, we hope that he is safe. And you know, we pray for all those that have been kidnapped. We pray for their release, really. Let's now turn our attention and take reactions to the viral interview granted by the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, right here on Arise News. El-Rufai, during the interview, accused the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, of attempts to destroy his reputation, alleging that Ribadu is nursing a 2031 presidential ambition. El-Rufai also alleged that Ribadu is collaborating with Uba Sani, the governor of Kaduna State, and the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission to destroy his image. Well, he spoke to Charles Anyagulu. Let's take a look before we take some reactions.
This project of destroy Nasir El-Rufai is Nuhu Ribadu's conception. He's the architect and he's the builder of that project, and he's the one working with Uba Sani to implement it. So far, it has been frustrating for them because they have not been able to find anything. In fact, what they have resorted to doing in the last 2 weeks is to be calling lower level people and some of my officials and saying, implicate Nasir El-Rufai and your problems will go away. This is what the ICPC has become. The EFCC is far more professional. They have, done a much better job of it. And now that we have seen that the whole thing is a charade, we are going to start fighting back, okay? Uba Sani is not my friend. Nuhu Ribadu is not my friend. They were my friends at some point, but not anymore. Somebody wants to destroy my reputation. Why? Nuhu Ribadu wants to be president in 2031. Well, he has to eliminate every northerner that he thinks is in the radar. That's what's going on.
All right, accusation galore. And I'm glad Charles Anyagulu actually, called on Nuhu Ribadu and all the other people he accused for a right of reply, because obviously this is a weighty allegation. But he said something there that cracked me up. He said, Nuhu is not my friend. Uba Sani is not my friend. Who is your friend? Oga, who is your friend? These were all the people that he said that as well. But all right, let me take reactions, because you know that there will be reactions. Let me take this from Reno Omokri, who wrote, Nasiru El-Rufai, the professional political kneeler who failed at being a leader and now needs a political healer. General Obasanjo retired as head of state in 1979. After 20 years, he returned as president. General Buhari left power in 1985 and returned 30 years later. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu left the stage as governor of Lagos in 2007. 16 years later, he is Nigeria's incumbent democratically elected president. Nasiru El-Rufai should learn from these eminent persons. Use your time out of office to be a statesman rather than a boogeyman. Be a loyal buddy rather than a royal bully. Build your political network rather than destroy your societal net worth. Just 1 year out of power, and Nasiru El-Rufai cannot stand the cold. He's not on good terms with his predecessor and his successor as governor of Kaduna. He is at loggerheads with his own political party. He has insulted those he once consulted and is now consulting those he once insulted. What a rhyme. Reno Omokri, there's one thing you have to give him. He does know how to write. I thought that was such a funny tweet, but the allegations are not funny and they are quite witty. It was so funny, those pictures. But let me take Nuhu Ribadu's response to this. Nuhu Ribadu wrote on X, I won't join issues with Nasiru El-Rufai. My attention has been drawn to the interview granted by Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, the immediate past governor of Kaduna State, Monday evening. If my silence wouldn't risk being construed as consent, I would have ignored him. I am too preoccupied with my current assignment as to get into a media fight with Nasiru El-Rufai or anyone else. Despite the incessant baiting and attacks, I have never spoken ill of Nasir on record anywhere. This is out of respect for our past association and our respective families. I will not start today. I, however, urge the public to disregard El-Rufai's statements against me. For the avoidance of doubt, I want to put it on record that I have never discussed running for president in 2031 with anybody. All my focus and energy are geared completely towards the advancement of Nigeria and the success of the President Tinubu administration. I therefore ask Nasiru El-Rufai to allow me face my onerous national assignment, just as I do not bother myself with his own affairs. Nuhu Ribadu. I mean, I think this is a well-rounded response. He has, removed himself from ever saying that he wants to contest for president. I thought it was quite mature that he said he wasn't going to join any issues with Nasir El-Rufai. It just made Nasir El-Rufai just look really little at this point. Our killer, Professor Anthony Killer. Over
well, I think, there's a lot of amusing side to it.
Yes.
That is, if we limit it to that, if we personalize it. And I'm very worried, because we personalize things, we enjoy some thrills and, some comical, some dramatic, and some bizarre performances in our public space. But we need to be careful, because some of these amusing things are actually dangerous for us. When a former governor, indeed anybody, goes to say that the Security National Advisor is acting together with somebody else with the sole aim of tarnishing his own image. Do you realize that that is a very strong allegation? Because if it is true, it means the National Security Advisor and the governor are committing crimes. They're abusing their office and they're using it to humiliate somebody, to oppress them. The response of Ribadu is a good response in terms of the prose and in terms of the decorum displayed. But I dare say he has a duty to report El-Rufai to law authority for defaming him and for accusing him of a crime. If we want to build institutions, beyond the drama and beyond the amusing things, there's some very serious, sober, dry things that we need to learn to do if we really want to build institutions. Because by the other side, we say if it is not true, he needs to denounce. But if it is true, then what he's doing is a very grave thing. I think we need to be careful. El-Rufai, every time he talks, people say it's because they didn't make him minister. Partly it's because they didn't make him minister, because if he were minister, he would be very busy ministering. It is because he's not a minister that he has time to say what is wrong in the ministry. So it's a related thing. But I think we as citizens and consumers, I dare say, we need to see the quality of the offer. Is he saying what is true? Is he saying what is appropriate, regardless of his own intention? Because let me assure you, every politician is there for ambition.
Yes.
The difference is what do they do without the ambition and how do they get there?
All right.
And I think the ambition is legitimate.
Every politician is there for ambition. One thing I took away from you is the fact that that allegation is a serious allegation, borders on crime. And of course, I believe that Nuhu Ribadu knows what to do, Uba Sani knows what to do, because they have been defamed at this point. And I'm glad that Nuhu Ribadu has come out to say that, he's not nursing any presidential ambition, as we claim. But if you know Nasir El-Rufai, he's been a talker. He talks a whole lot. And, there's not a lot that comes out of most of the things that he says. But, El-Rufai also told Nigerians not to believe the narrative that the National Assembly rejected him as a ministerial nominee. He claimed that it was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu who did not want him in his cabinet. El-Rufai also recalled that President Tinubu had begged him publicly to suspend his plans and take up the ministerial offer. Let's take a look.
The president publicly appealed to me to put my plans on hold, and through 2 months of negotiation, we finally agreed that he would nominate me as minister, and there are certain conditions I attached to that. I think along the line, either the president changed his mind or something else, because please don't believe the story that the National Assembly rejected me. The National Assembly had nothing to do with this. The president didn't want me in his cabinet. He changed his mind. Whatever it is, frankly, I don't care. And I told him and I moved on. What security? What was the security issue? I have been a governor for 8 years in one of the most difficult states in the country. Okay? I have been minister 20 years earlier. I've been in public life in the last 25, 26 years. What is the security issue? Where is the report? What about other ministers far less qualified, far less experienced, with huge controversies around them that scaled through because the president made a call?
All right. He's saying here that it was not a security issue and that it was President Tinubu's decision. And I kind of remember that, there was a time when that actual happened. And I'll take Fares's tweet. He wrote a throwback to when Tinubu was begging El-Rufai to serve in his administration. He said he wouldn't leave the podium unless El-Rufai promised to work with him. But in the end, he betrayed Malam. Oh, let's take a look at that video.
I'm openly begging Nasir El-Rufai not to run away for additional degree excuse. We are not going to let you run away. Your vision, creativity, and resiliency in turning a rotten situation to a bad one is necessary at this critical time. Dear brother Nasir, make a promise. We won't let you run away from the country. That's the only way I will leave this podium. Where is the promise? You make the promise.
I promise.
Okay. Thank you.
I promise, even on a part-time basis.
Well, there you go, El-Rufai there, he actually did promise. And that video was in October 2022 during the Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit. At that time, Tinubu was a presidential candidate. Rufi on fire.
You see, politics.
Yeah.
Dele Farotimi is very apt. Don't die in their wall. Because when the going is good, they will kiss and make love. But when it's bad, they go their separate ways. You can see Ubasani there. With El-Rufai, then President Tinubu asking him and begging him, you must come, you must lend your expertise to the country. He says, I promise. Yeah, so whatever you're going to say about El-Rufai feels betrayed. But the truth is, betrayal is the #1 name of politics.
That's the game.
That's the name of the game. So there's no point sulking over betrayal. That's just it. There is no point to sulk over betrayal. He has said he's going to take his own firm stand. Let's see how it pans out. He has the right to join whatever political party he wants to join or remain in the APC. But as regards the allegations he made against Nuhu Ribadu, he must prove. Like we see a video here, even if it's an audio recording, we must see a recording that shows a scheme going on by Nuhu Ribadu and Ubasani. And also, Nuhu Ribadu must respond. It's not just by saying, I don't want to get immersed in the issues. He responded to Najatu. So on this case, he must respond. He says, yes, they used to be friends before, so because of that, he wants to respect that. But you see, it is both of them that fight today that they will settle tomorrow. Yeah. So that's no big deal. We've had politicians that are sworn enemies and they reconcile.
Yeah.
The day some people here once said that even if you give your human brains function normally until you go to APC, your brain change. The same person is speaking for APC today.
Right.
The same person said that a human brain functions normally until you join APC, your brain will change. That same person is shouting APC today.
Politics.
It's politics
yes.
1.0.
Absolutely.
So please, we want them to respond robustly. So we can say, But now there's the fact out that President Tinubu actually begged.
So he
it's on
who
record.
alleges must prove. So I
it's
mean,
on record.
El-Rufai should come out with whatever proof that he has against Ubasani or against Nuhu Ribadu. And you know,
because
I mean,
we've seen proof number one that he said Tinubu begged me. Yes. Fact, empirical fact.
And recall, it was just yesterday this interview came out, and Nuhu came out with his statement yesterday, and he has urged Nigerians to disregard all the statements that El-Rufai
because
made
it's not just by
that's what was on
disregarding.
his tweet.
Look at the case of the president running for president. This is the second time we're going to hear it.
Yes.
The first one was Gambaya, the Binance guy that talked about it. Second time we're hearing it now. So he must be able to come out and say, anyway, he's debunked that.
Yes, he has debunked everything.
But this is politics. We've heard many politicians who say, no, I'm not interested. Yes. And after a while, they tell us how somebody persuaded them, you know, like accidental public servants, persuaded them to come into office. So it's don't be surprised. I won't be surprised if Nuhu Ribadu changes his mind tomorrow. He's like, oh, after a lot of calls to my people, I just have to throw my hat in the ring.
Well, until that time,
until
on this
then,
table,
he said that
we have presented the two sides.
Yes.
This first side is from Nuhu Ribadu saying Nigerians disregard everything. He has debunked it, and you know, hopefully there will be a lawsuit like the way he did.
He didn't say he wasn't going to run. He just said he has not. No, he said he has not said anything about running.
Well, all right. We'll